Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. All right, my name is Alicia Lynn. I am the Finance Director for the Office of Highway Safety. I will be moderating the Magic class for today. We have some great speakers online. First, we have Patricia Bryant. She is our Magic super user for the Department of Public Safety. Then we also have Carol Wilson. She's with a super user for the Department of Public Safety in the black. Also, we have Venetia Cody. She is with Department of Public Safety Planning right here in the black and white. And also, we have Lawyer Epps. He is our internal auditor for the office. Also, I want to keep in mind at the end, make sure that you fill out your evaluation form so I can give you a ticket. And also, I think I have to sign off on some CEUs for people that need that, and I will sign that as well. All right, I'm going to turn it over to Lawyer.
Well, good morning. Good morning. I know you all been waiting for this opportunity. Who have not? Who have not been waiting on this magic opportunity? Where it's magic. Abracadabra. Now, let's walk through a few housekeeping rules. This hotel has wireless, but as we go through some of the presentations, some of you may not be able to go on. So what we're trying to do is use the wireless system that we have when we're showing this. Some of you may have to boot down. You may have to boot down. And then when we tell you to go in, we'll let you go into the system. Okay? Great. Now, let's get started on magic. Anybody in here know what MAGIC stands for?
Mississippi Accounting System for Government and Collaboration. Is that right?
Did I hear information? Did I hear information?
Yes.
Absolutely. And I know everybody's been wondering, how is this going to affect what we do? It's going to affect the accounting system. It's going to affect how you get paid. Now, let's set the stage a little bit so we can all understand what's really happening. It is a new process for the whole state of Mississippi. That includes you. How many of you have had passwords? You have passwords. Who do not have passwords? Okay. You're going to be broken out in two different groups. Ones with passwords, ones without passwords. And we hope that we can have you set up with a password before you leave. Also, this room will be set up all day after this class. And some of us will be here to assist you even after the class if you need some more understanding about math. Friday evening, we got a little information about how to integrate your system, your part, with ours. That's right before we came here. Because we was trying to make sure, how do we get you into the system to get paid? And that's important. That's very important. Because this system's supposed to make sure that your reimbursement reach you within our 30 to 45 day window. I want that to be pushed to 30 days. So, when you enter into that, we want you to say, hey, I put in a claim. Man, I got paid. I got paid. Have anybody in here been paid through Magic yet? Anybody? All right. Thanks to this team right here, Venetia Cody and Sharon McCain. Give them a hand. And let me tell you a little bit. Sharon McCain, who works in our office also, along with the direction of her boss, Ms. Venetia Cody, has really helped us get on board. Ms. Shirley Thomas and Captain McCain, who's the executive director, wanted to make sure that you guys get paid because he's over the PSB division. It's very important to them. Our leadership looking out for you. Now, our executive director told the group that guess what? PSP is the leading agency in helping getting you paid. Now, that's important to us. But as we go through this, we want you to pay attention to the details that we got here. We're going to work together in this. So we need you to pay attention because there are some things that's going to pop up on the screen, columns that's going to change in a flash of a second. And it may look the same, but one or two lines may change depending on what type of information you're putting in. Your input is very important. Everybody have a step-by-step? Who do not have a step-by-step? All right, let's get ready. As I say, abracadabra. What you have here before you is our magic. This is part of our portal, but this right here is on there. Now, some of you may have Internet Explorer, and you may not be able to get into the magic system. Some of you may have Firefox, Safari. Those are the engines that'll get you into our magic system, one or the other. One or the other between Internet Explorer, Firefox, and Safari could get you into the system. But something very important, I still think we got it onto version 10. You have to stay with version 10. Some of you may have to go into your computer, into the settings, and click on About. And you or your administrator may have to go back and reverse that setting back to 10, because I think most of these computers are set up on automatic updates, and when that happens, that version will change you to 11 and soon 12. So it's very important to understand your version of Explorer, your internet field there. Here is a main screen. Once you pull up on the screen, you may see this right here. This is what you may be looking at right here, a screen such as this. The one we look at is similar to this, but it may be just a little bit different. But this is what you're seeing. And they have home, portal, internet site, and support. Play with those buttons when you get a chance. Make sure you go through each of one of those buttons to see exactly what is happening in that system. But the main one where you want to go is portal. Portal. Portal is going to enter you into the system. And if I click, do we have the, we don't have it. Just a mouse? Okay. Once you enter into the portal is going to take you to these two icons, and production and training. Who knows the difference? Anybody? Take a shot. Yes, ma'am.
Training to teach you how to use the productions to go in and actually use.
Absolutely. Did you hear that? Training is a support window that helps you to understand some of the step-by-step processes. It may not be exactly, but those are the process steps. That is training for you. Production is where you go in and you hit the actual button to go into the system. So let's try it. Let's try production. Wow. When you go into production, you see this window here, your log on. You have a log on. You enter your log on. You're going to have a system, a password that will allow you access into the magic world. And once you get into the magic world will allow you to get into the financing process of what you need to input to get paid. Have anybody clicked on the having a problem with the password? Have anybody ever clicked on that link? What he just stated, I asked, did anyone have any problems with Magic as trying to enter into the system? Sean from Macomb stated that he has a password and access to the system, but he couldn't get no further to get into the system. And we are well aware of those application problems. And the team has been, I tell you, they've been working on this day and night trying to fix all this for the state, okay?
Good morning. I'm Patricia Bryan, and I am the super user for Department of Public Safety when it comes to Magic. There are a couple of things that you can do if you're having problems logging in. Of course, first check your version to make sure that your version is correct. If you still check your browser to make sure that your pop-up blocker is not active. You cannot have the pop-up blocker active and use the Magic system. It will create a world of issues for you. So those are two things first that you probably need to check. If you still have trouble logging in, you need to call the MMRS help desk and report your problem. I generally suggest that you call and not email. That way you get a tracking number, and if they do not respond to you within at least 2 hours, I would follow back up with another call and let them know that I have already reported this problem and I'm waiting on a response and I really need to hear from them. Security generally gets around to you within at least a 2-hour window frame, unless it's something just absolutely wrong going on in the system on that day. Most of the time they do have a 2-hour turnaround as far as responding to your problems. Any other questions? But I'm not sure that will happen before you leave today. We do not have control over getting you the access. We can walk you through requesting it, and we will do that before you leave today, and that will be the breakout that he was referring to. We will break out and help you get, if you are a supplier, we will get you signed up, assist you with getting signed up as a supplier, and we will assist you with getting signed up if you do not have your user ID and password. But we cannot say that they will get it to you before you leave today, because that is a MMRS process, and we are relying on them to provide you with that information.
So we just don't follow on the screen.
Today, we will show you in the system if you have not seen it. And that's the reason why I wanted to give you the handouts, because I wanted you to have something to be able to take with you. I wasn't aware they were going to be videoing it. That's even better. You'll be able to go back and review. But there are there's a site called YouPerform, and I'm not sure if it's in the handout that I gave you, but it is YouPerform. YouPerform. You can click on that link. It's on the MMRS website, and it is a training tool that we have been using and learning in this new process of Magic. And it has a couple of training tools that are available for you. Some in which you can just read and try to follow along. There are what they call simulations on that site also. There are cue cards where you can go in. The cue cards will walk you through the processes and show you the screens all at the same time, walking you through the steps. Then there is the simulation, which you can go in, click on those, and as you go through the process, it's kind of like you're doing it. And it's also talking to you. You can turn the sound on some of them. Some of them do not have sound, but I think with the eGrants part, it probably would have sound to it. You can go through those steps, and it will help you if you get lost or hung up when you're trying to go into the system. What I suggest is that you maybe do the split screen. If you know how to do that on your system, you can have it up and the Real Magic portal. And as you go in, let the system step you through the first time. You also have the paper copy that I provided you today. And between the two, hopefully you'll be able to get through the process without any problems. The main thing to remember is that the system is very new. We're all learning it. We're dealing with a lot of problems in the system, things that they didn't anticipate would be problems. We're dealing with them. As we identify them, don't be afraid to call and report them. They need to know so we can get it the way we need it in order for it to be a good working tool for us.
So right now, I have a page that says user password. Just click off that and follow him.
If you don't have a user ID and password, that is correct.
Any other questions? Now, as we go forward, this screen right here is, we'll call these right here, if you look at the top where you have home, procurement, e-grant, those are apps. Those are what we call apps. Those apps right there is pertinent to where you enter the system based on your need. But the first one that we look at is what we call the e-grant. And you will have that site too, with e-grant located upon that. Now, what I'm going to do is that you're going to see e-grant Work Center, and you're going to see e-grant under the application. We go under the application. Don't want to tell you go on that side. I want you to test that side because you can go in that way too. But that's going to be a few more steps that you don't need. But let's go with the application. As I click on the application, here you're going to have another link that's going to enter you in the system. Now this link is based on your role. There's a role. Now for us, since we're using it, you see these two. You may not see this. It may automatically go to your window because you may not have this there. But if you have two rows sitting in there, then what's going to happen is going to bring you to this window first. But if you only have one, I believe, because I have multiple, this right here, once you click on eGrant, will automatically take you into the next field. But I'm going to click on Program Manager. Once it starts, it comes to this window right here. And this window here is home. You got a home run once you see this window. But it's very important that you go through these steps because I'm going to try to walk through this with you on this screen right here. I want you to look at right here. This is going to let you know that you are at home all the time. This is going to let you know your identifying page that you are on. Home, calendar, and all these claims and accounts, agreements, all that's important. Right now, you may not have all these links here on your screen, but you will have the home, the calendar, the work list, and so on. But let's go over here to here. If you see all these links here, these are today's appointment, workflow tasks, today's tasks, and so on. Those are for you personally. Something may be in your work list. You might have an appointment in your calendar to do something. If that is pertinent, then something would be in that column where it said no result found. I want you to take a look right here. You see the word create and the word search. Create and search. And I want to say that. Create and search. That's going to be very important. For everybody beginning to enter into magic, you will have to create. You will have to create any new application. If we put it in there for you to get started, then it will all automatically be there. So a lot of your information may already be there because we had to get in there to get you paid. If that's the case, then you will go to search. You will have some numbers, the very important that this team here would tell you about shortly. But I want to focus on create, so you can understand this language over here. Create, you have you won't have an agreement, but application, a case, a claim, and programs. You might not have programs either, but I definitely know you're gonna have application, case, and claims. Definitely know that.
I just wanted to state that the reason why you're seeing some of this is because this is to my ID, okay? So your ID will have different settings to it, and you'll have different security links. And that's the difference that you will see here today. I'm on a manager level, so you will see a lot of things here that may vary a little bit on your screen and your access. Even if you do have agreement, you should not click on that, okay? Because that is not a role in which you should have, and we have already reported that to the MMRS team, and they're working on getting that. So if one day you come in and it's gone, that's what happened, okay? They finally got it fixed, okay? But some of the things that you'll see under my ID is pertinent to my security access, and so yours may vary a little bit.
And as you click on applications, this is the starting point of your application. Now, I'm going to try to go in here and follow this path on your work, on your handout.
One thing in reference to the handout that we have provided today, this is an example of what is under the you perform, okay? So some of the things that you may see in the handout may not actually be something that will pertain to you and your process. But under some of these roles, some of the information there will pertain to you. This is just the guide that they provided for us under you perform. And I went there because I wanted to give you something to be able to take with you today, to be able to show you some of the steps and some of the roles in which you can be able to go in and use when it comes to creating your application.
Let's go and let's click application, and let's see what that one will look like. I click. Is it, we have some pop-up blockers. Always, yeah. There you go.
Okay, I just had a question, and I don't know, out of the ones who have log-on password ID and are actually able to get in the system, have you actually tried to follow along? Are you able to follow along with him as he's going through this? You do have the access to be able to go in and...
No, they wouldn't let me on. I mean, it kicked in, my session ended.
Oh, okay. Try to log on because we're trying to identify if something is a problem. We have learned from our 3 months of using Magic, just because you have an ID and a password doesn't mean you have access to do anything. Okay, but log on. In some cases, we have to go back and request information as far as give them the actual area in which we need to work. So as for you all, if you may need to go actually and request specific roles, like being the grant administrator or to be able to create an application, you know, those type of roles. And see, we just saw it on Friday because we didn't know that we had access to it. We thought we were going to have to get an external user in order to go into the system. And after going around and around with MMRS to try to get information to get logged on, we found out that as being the grant administrators, we can go in under ID and see both sides. Okay, so we're learning it. I think they're learning it as well as we go through this process. But I would like to know if you're able to go in and follow to this point. You are?
I'm in application.
Okay, great. And you only requested an ID? You only requested an ID and password, correct?
I have an ID.
Okay.
Yes.
When you set up, okay.
No, they gave me an ID and they just told me to set up a password.
Sounds great. Okay, so it may be something in your settings as to why you're not able to log in. Because remember I told you, if you have the pop-up on, it will freeze your system and will not allow you access.
I'm
Okay?
still using Explorer 11.
That's the problem. That's the problem. And these are
Does it
some,
even allow you to go that far, even if?
it possibly can. Some people can get to, yeah, some people can come on the system, but it won't allow you to do the real functions within the system. Okay. All right, thank you.
Very important. Once you click on an application or one of those links, this window right here will appear. And there are some titles in here that allow you to enter the system. You are always the SOMS. Anybody know what that stands for? State of Mississippi. Okay? State of Mississippi. So you're going to use this Psalms app right here, and you'll go over here and you'll click it. Once you get in, this is the type of information you'll be looking for. This is the type of information that you will see. You remember I told you where home was? And to let you know exactly where you're located? Where are we now? What does it say beside it? Absolutely. New. These are some very important identifiers for you to make sure that you are in the right location at all times. What you have here is a lot of other information with some different steps in it that may confuse you at this time based on this live action right here. Okay? We're using, as Ms. Pat just stated, we're using her password, which is at a higher level, super user level. And there's a lot of information in there that comes to her. But let's take a look at this. If you notice, this legend over here stays with you no matter what location you are in the system. Here is your application details. Your application details. This is where you go in and start entering information. One of the things that you want to know is that do you have a grant ID? Do you have an ID number? Everybody has an agency ID number? You know what it is? All right. Well, you need to get with your accounting system, and if you register into the system, you should know that number, okay? You should know that number.
Okay, one thing to remember too with using the system, if you look here, these are required fields that's in the red, okay? And on the side, you will see the little box that allow you to search. So in any field that you're trying to fill out, if you have a little box here on the side, you can go in and search for any information that you may need, okay? And you'll find this all throughout the system.